What's going on YouTube? So a lot of people are very excited about this product I have right next to me. This is the 6th generation of the Honda Prelude. That's right, it is coming back to the US market very soon. And today we have some new details about this model that we didn't previously know. The main thing is the price. So let's go ahead and jump right in, take a look at this really exciting new Honda Coupe and let you know some new details about the pricing. So let's jump right into the exterior design. Now, I think this is the part that's really gotten a lot of attention because you can see we have a very signature and classic Honda Coupe silhouette. It's very smooth and attractive looking, and that begins up here in the front. So you'll notice that we have kind of a little bit of a squared off front end here. It's going to be all finished in a body color except down here on the lower part where you have the gloss black finish and plenty of space for airflow. You've got a nice black Honda badge right through there. And then kind of integrating right into the grille, we have our headlights. As you can see, we have a fully LED headlight through there and a pretty aggressive looking lower body kit. Moving on to the wheels, we've got a 19-inch alloy. The standard one is going to be a gloss black, but we actually have the optional accessory wheels, which have the contrast finish. You'll notice behind there we've got those blue brake calipers, and that's because the Prelude will actually come standard with the same brakes that you get on the Honda Civic Type R. So obviously that's quite a good performance brake option. Of course, you got the gloss black finish for your mirrors. You're going to have all the standard features you expect, including blind spot monitoring.
Now at the side, you see that signature coupe-like stance, and I think this thing looks so good here in person. You know, we've already seen this product in a studio, and now seeing it out here at the auto show, I think it looks even better than it did before, and we do look forward to covering it in more detail coming very soon to the channel. Now, overall vehicle length is about 178 inches for this Prelude, and you may notice that we have a really cool paint color. This is known as Boost Blue Pearl. There are several other paint colors that you can select, but I think this is probably the most eye-catching paint color that you can get in the lineup. Now, as we head around to the rear design of the Prelude, absolutely a beautiful look for this. Honestly, I think Honda nailed the design front, side, and rear for this product, and I think it looks especially good if you choose this optional lip spoiler. This is a feature that you can get here on the Prelude. It's a nice black spoiler, which adds a little bit of contrast to the rear design. And then let's take a look at our taillights. So our taillights are going to be full length all the way across the back. We have our Honda branding, Prelude branding. All of that is going to be blacked out for that nice contrast look. And as far as the lighting elements, they are going to be fully LED. And then dropping down to the lower fascia, this is also very aggressive, as you would expect. There are no exposed exhaust outlets, which is a little bit interesting, but I think it looks quite good. And you also have that blue line right front and center. Now, when it comes to safety systems, Honda always does a great job of offering all of your active safety features. We do expect that to continue for this Prelude model. But guys, there's a lot to talk about on the inside, so let's go ahead and dive into that. But first, if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We started young, and since then we have reviewed over 2,000 vehicles at every price point.
No matter what you're looking for, from humble to high-end, we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family.
Let's learn a lot and have some fun with all the latest cars. All right, let's move on to the interior. Here's our Honda key fob. It's the typical arrangement. You have a standard smart entry system with remote start. Now moving up to the vehicle, it does have those flush mount door handles, so you can just press in there and do that, or it can also pop out as you approach the vehicle as well. And let's take a look inside this interior. So I think you're going to be very happy with just how much luxury it looks like you have in here. It's a really sporty and nice looking design, especially when you choose this color combination. So it's going to be offered in two different versions. You can of course get the full black, but you can also get this kind of white and blue accented interior. I think this looks absolutely fantastic overall. And of course, a big part of the way this looks is the seat design. So this has a bespoke seat. They have not used this in any other Honda product. So it's just for this model. You can see it's got that sport design where the headrest is kind of integrated into the overall body. You have Prelude up there in the headrest. You've got the contrast stitching, the two-tone finish running through the center section. And then this also has the unique feature of asymmetrical bolstering. So on the driver's side, you actually have more bolstering than you get on the passenger side, so that you can kind of hold yourself in a little bit tighter when you're driving aggressively and have a little bit more comfort for your passenger over there on the side. Now, obviously, as you can see, this is a manual adjusting seat as well. And let's go ahead and climb on inside. Now that we're inside the cabin, let's look around at the rest of the material choices. So over here on the door trim, you've got the full leatherette covering with the two-tone stitching. You also have more leatherette through the center section and a soft touch plastic along the top. All the upper dashboard is also finished in a soft touch plastic. You've got this center accent here, which has a little bit of a suede-ish finish to it, and you'll notice that you've got the embroidering right through there and the stitching detail. That same detailing is going to carry on through this entire center console area, which is very nice and solid. Now, one of the nice things about the studio we're shooting in today is that it is a large enough space and well ventilated enough. I can actually fire it up, so let's go ahead and do that right now. Now it's all fired up, and like I was saying earlier, this is a hybrid, so you'll notice the engine did not fire up. And let's kind of zero in next on the gauge clusters to begin our interior tour. So this is going to be similar to what we've seen on many other Honda products. It's got the full digital cluster. This is 10.2 inches, and when you cycle through the different drive modes, you can see different designs. Speaking of, you can see those three drive modes right there. You have Comfort, GT, Sport, and then an individual mode where you can customize things. We'll talk a little bit more about that momentarily. As we pull back, we've got rain sensing wipers and a special steering wheel design. So we've got the two stitching details. It's a black finish, a little bit of suede accent at the top, flat bottom as well with the extra spoke. Really nice feel in the hand. Manual tilt and telescoping on board with this. As far as storage is concerned, we've got pretty decent storage. I mean, this is a two-door, obviously, so you've got enough space for probably a handful of donuts, but we don't have those with us today since we are shooting this in California for a very early first look. You have two very deep cup holders right through there. And then up in the very front, similar to what you have on a Civic, you've got a nice wireless phone charging pad. Now, as far as the shifter is concerned, it's all kind of concentrated right here in this center area with the piano black accenting. It's a push-button style shifter like many other Honda products. So you just press that D there for drive. They are for reverse. There's your backup camera. And then, of course, P for park. You've got your electronic parking brake with brake hold located right over there. Now, by this point, you're probably noticing this large button located right over here on the right-hand side of the shifter. And that is a Honda First system. It's called the S Plus Shift Mode. It's debuting here on the Prelude. And what this is designed to do is basically make this more engaging to drive. So this, of course, does have the Honda hybrid system, very similar to what is in like a Civic hybrid. But because of this system, what you're going to have is 8 simulated gear changes. Those simulated gear changes are going to be more aggressive. Honda says that you can actually feel them. So unlike the other Honda products, it's not just an auditory thing. You actually have a physical feel to them when you're using these paddle shifters. You have upshifts and downshifts. Also, when you activate this mode, it's going to allow you to have more of an enhanced auditory experience, getting more engine sound into the vehicle. Now, of course, this is the first Prelude, though, that is not available with a manual transmission, so I should just go ahead and point that out. But this is, again, a Honda First for the brand. Now, up above, we have our climate controls. It's a dual-zone automatic setup. Very simple to adjust. You also have standard heated seats on this model. And then up top here, we've got a Bose sound system that will be included as standard equipment, because like I said, this is very well equipped as standard since it's just one trim level. And you have the 9-inch display. This 9-inch display is the premium version of Honda software, so that means it has Google built in. So right now we're in the Google Maps view. And of course you have other things like the Play Store and the Google Assistant and also Amazon Alexa. You can also click there and check like your power flow and other things individual to a hybrid system. Wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay are included as well. And then up top we've got an auto dimming mirror. One thing I do want to point out is, I would say likely due to the shape of the roof here, we do not have a sunroof, but what that allows for is the fact that this feels very spacious in terms of headroom, even though this is a very sleek looking coupe.
Now, one of the things I love about almost every Honda product is just how practical it is. And even with a two-door coupe, they have put the rear seats in this Prelude model. And let's go ahead and check them out. So in order to get back into the next row of seats, it's pretty easy. All you have to do is grab this little lever right here. That is going to tilt the seat back forward, and then you can slide the seat forward because it is a manual seat. It's pretty easy to do, honestly. Sometimes that's easier than a power setup. Now let me go ahead and crawl back in here. Now, you wouldn't expect this to be a super spacious rear seat, and indeed it is not a super spacious rear seat. Honda says this is about 32 inches of legroom. They do not have a headroom figure, mainly because it's probably not very good. I'd say it's about 30 inches or so. Now, I'm 5'9" for reference, so that's something to keep in mind. I am a full-size adult, so if you're, a young adult, maybe that has smaller children, they would probably be able to easily fit back here in this next row of seats with no problem whatsoever. Now, this seat is actually slid most of the way back, and of course I brought the official Car Confections ruler along, even here to California, so you could see the knee room. It's going to be about a half an inch or maybe an inch of space, but I'm very happy to tell you that my feet can slide up underneath of the seat, and honestly, these seats are quite comfortable as well. They are actually going to be finished in a cloth, so unlike the front where they're leather, they're actually going to be a cloth here in the back. But they are very comfortable. You have this little center section here, and then as far as features are concerned, there's not really going to be many features as you might expect. Now let's go ahead and talk about the cargo area with the Prelude and see if that practicality continues. So in order to get back here, all you have to do is locate this little button under the lid, and that will go ahead and actually open up the lift back. Now I want to talk about this because if you're familiar with the Honda Prelude, this is actually the first version of the Prelude that has a lift back as compared to a traditional trunk. I think that's certainly a good move, and the reason I say that is because that's going to give you a lot more practicality as compared to some of those other versions. Now, as far as the overall cargo capacity, we don't have those official numbers yet. Do keep in mind this is a very early first look at the Prelude, so they're still getting some of those numbers finalized. However, just looking based on my personal estimation, I'd say you have probably maybe 15-ish cubic feet of space behind the second row of seats. And the good thing about these seats is that they can fold completely down, so you just kind of reach up here and fold them down. It looks like it's about a 60-40 split folding system. And then that will give you your maximum cargo capacity. With the seats folded down, I have to say it's actually quite practical. You would probably be surprised at how much stuff you can fit in here. Honda says you can easily fit in golf bags for those of you curious. As you can see, they have some duffel bag props back here as well. And it's a Car Confections review, so of course I'm going to get our cargo length, width, and height figures. Now this seat is adjusted most of the way back, so keep that in mind. And as far as cargo length, we're sitting at 62 inches of length. That's very good. From behind the second row of seats, you can expect about 27 inches of length. As far as the cargo opening, it's not going to be huge, but it's going to be definitely usable. 32 inches wide. And then cargo height, I'll go ahead and get that for you down here at the end of the cargo area. About 13 to 14 inches is what you are looking at. The load-in height is going to be actually a little bit taller than you might expect just because of the way the vehicle is shaped. That's coming in about 32 inches. Now, if we lift up the cargo floor, if I move some of these bags, You will find just a little bit of extra space, but you will not have a spare tire. This is a Honda hybrid after all.
And let's go ahead and talk about what is under the hood. So we've been mentioning it kind of leading into this, but this is indeed Honda's two-motor hybrid system. You've seen that applied to many other Honda products, and it is pretty much the same here. It is a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine with your 2 electric motors. Total system power on this is 200 horsepower and 232 pound-feet of torque. Now, this is a front-wheel drive exclusive model, and I already spent some time discussing that S Plus shift mode on the inside of the vehicle. Now, other thing to consider is, of course, the fuel economy. That's going to be a biggie with this model, and of course, a massive improvement over the previous generations, because if it tracks with the Civic Hybrid, what you'd be looking at is having about 50 miles per gallon. So that model is rated at 49 combined. So I really think that with the sleek design of this, you really should have just about the same fuel economy, which would just be absolutely insane for a sporty coupe model. Now, obviously, we are taking a very early look at it in the studio, so we're not going to be driving it today, but let's talk a little bit about what you might be able to expect. A big thing with this model is the fact that it has the adaptive suspension from the Civic Type R. So that, of course, is going to give it a really good bones to work with, although Honda does say that they did tune it to be a little less aggressive than that because they envision this as more of a grand touring vehicle. And of course, when you're in the Plus R mode in that Civic Type R, is very jarring in terms of the suspension. So I think that's a good move that they made with this suspension tuning. Obviously, they're saying it's going to be very sporty and good handling. We can't wait to actually put that to the test closer to when this model goes on sale.
All right, so now is the time. We do have official pricing information from Honda. So in our previous videos, we were just kind of speculating as to what this Prelude will cost, and now we officially know the number. So what we're sitting at is going to be $42,000 as a starting point before destination. That's for the single-tone model, like what we have today. You can also get a blacked-out roof. That's going to be $500 extra, so $42,500. Now, keep in mind, now there are accessories as well. So, as you can see, we have the spoiler up here at the back. We also have some of the blacked-out badging, as well as those wheels. So those are extra costs. So with all of that plus destination, we are sitting at over $45,000 for this new Prelude, which certainly does represent a little bit more of a higher price point than what we had originally expected. But of course, we do look forward to driving this product actually quite soon and, showing you what the performance of this model is like. Certainly, it's, pretty uncommon to have a coupe on the market. So a relatively affordable coupe is something that we're definitely interested in checking out and covering on the channel. Now, this model will be manufactured in Japan. And if you're looking to buy one or any new vehicle, we'd encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. The reason you should do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool to use while dealership negotiating. If you'd like to take advantage of that, as well as things like our monthly payment tool, you can find a link to that in our video description, as well as a pinned comment down below. Now, as far as availability, Honda says that these will be arriving at dealers really before the end of the year. So actually quite shortly, you might be able to pick up one of these new Preludes if you're looking to buy one. And guys, that's all for our first look review of the all-new 2026 Honda Prelude. Like I just mentioned, we will be covering this model in more detail very shortly on the channel, so be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already to stay tuned on the latest car content. And if you're already a part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support. You make this all possible, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.